down. I'm not the head coach, but I'm here, so you guys are good. You guys fire away. I'm probably better Q&A than I am making a speech, so go ahead.
At what point, Coach Matt Smith, 104 through the fan, at what point did Coach Prime reach out to you initially to contact you about your interest possibly in this position?
Yeah, we spoke after the season. The NFL season is such a long year. You're trying to reintroduce yourself to your children and to your wife, and so we spoke, and then my family would go to Tampa. Again, a reintroduction to being a husband and being a father. So we Zoomed a couple times. That's the beauty of technology, is you can be here without being here. And then I came out probably late January, and you know, the off season's the off season for everybody, so you're kind of working through some things, and I always said, you know, right person, right place, and obviously I felt a great connection with the head coach. And then I've told this story, you know, you're taking 36 from Denver, and you come over the hill, and you kind of have a look at that little lookout spot, and like, oh, this is the right place. So I've been really, really happy so far.
Hey, Coach Ryan
Hey.
Koenigsberg from DNVR. When you looked at this team last year on film, what were some of the things that stood out to you and some of the players that stood out to you?
Yeah, I think the skill positions are elite. You know, we have really, really great skill players. I think the vision is what it is. I think it's our job as coaches, if you do it right, in my personal opinion, to kind of take a 30,000-foot view of the roster and say, okay, hey, maybe we got to do some things I haven't done in the past. So it won't be the same playbook that we've had in Cincinnati or that we had at Vanderbilt or we had at Furman. I think you got to take the spring, you got to look at who you have and put people in positions to be successful. So that's what we're doing as a staff. You know, I was phenomenally fortunate to walk in here and have a staff intact, guys that know the players. So you find yourself earning their trust as well as the players' trust. I mean, this is a players-driven system, obviously. They got to cross the white line and go play. So, no, I've been really, really happy with everybody. I think with any new coach or new coordinator that comes in, you know, everybody's got a blank slate, and I think that's good for all parties involved.
Hey, Coach. Brian Howard from the Boulder Daily Camera.
Brian.
I ended up talking to Bob Shoop a few weeks ago,
Okay.
and he was talking about when you were playing for him that he saw coach qualities in you. So I'm just curious, like, when did you kind of start getting those juices to be a coach?
Yeah, when you're not very good, you got to take every avenue you can. So I transferred to William & Mary. I started off at Western Michigan, gave him an ACL in a hand. It started snowing in October, and I figured, hey, this is a little cold for me. So I transferred to William & Mary. Bob Shoop was just coming in, and we were the new guys, and we became very close. My life is forever changed because of him. I'm forever indebted. You know, he taught me the game in the way that I still view it, you know, 2x2 or 3x1. And we had some talented guys, and that was kind of my role. You know, I made 11 probably, and I had to get other people lined up. So I knew the game was going to quit on me eventually, and it's really all I know. It's all I'm probably decent at, even if you ask my wife. And so it's been a lot of fun, and I would not be here without him, so I'm forever indebted to him.
Hey, Coach. Jack Carlo with
Jack.
Buffalo's Wire. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, just with your background as a secondaries coach, just how excited are you, you know, as you mentioned, to coach some of the guys in secondary like, you know, Travis, Cormani, Shiloh? Just what's your approach with those guys?
Yeah, I mean, you're phenomenally blessed. You walk into a spot, and you got competition everywhere. And I think, again, the way I view the game from a secondary perspective is let's make it hard on those guys on the outside. Early in camp, let's see who can cover. Those guys up front, let's see who can rush. And let's put it all together. So as we start working, you know, kind of the different packages, that's probably a different way I view the game as well. Let's have our best 11 out there at all times. So if that's a certain group on first down and a certain group on second down and a certain group on third down, I think when you're in the NFL, you know, you have 46 guys on game day. So if you get a jersey, you got to play. So whether you're a young player, whether you're a niche player, whatever it may be, you know, we should carve out a role for it if you're going to be here. So it starts on the back end with me. Obviously, that's my history, my background, and then it kind of works its way up. So really, really pleased with those guys.
Hi, Coach. Adam Worcester Tiger, 24/7 Sports. Good to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you.
You talked about tailoring your defense to what the players do well. I'm curious, though, are there some things that you want to be the identity of your defense?
Yeah, I think you know, Jonathan Gannon said it when he went to Philly. I think somebody asked him, you know, what's your philosophy on defense? And he says, well, I don't have one. I have non-negotiables, right? We'll be the hardest playing team in the country. That's how I see it. That's how we need to be. We'll be great communicators, and we'll have a tribe mentality, meaning there's no job too big, no job too small. It takes all 11. But what the first huddle call is versus North Dakota State, I couldn't tell you. Again, we're going to take the offseason. We're going to look at what we do well. It's really easy to walk in someplace and slide the playbook across and say, hey, you guys learn this because this is what I do. It's not my defense. It's not the staff's defense. It's our defense. And, again, it kind of goes back to that tribe mentality, thought process of, hey, everybody's coming together for one common goal, right? We're all pulling the same way. So while it might look different than what we did in Cincinnati, it's what works here. And I think the beauty of that is when you take that approach, each week is different. You know, you got to go into each week and say, hey, we have to stop this, and then make them play left-handed. You know, and that's how we'll view it. That's how we'll view each week. And, you know, one week might look different than the next, with the same goal of putting our best players in positions to be successful. I think whether you're with the Bengals, whether you're with the Chiefs, whether you're at Colorado or at Boulder High, you've got 5 or 6 guys on defense that can change the game. So those are shooters, right? So let's get those guys shots, right? You guys are probably Nuggets fans, right? If Jamal doesn't get a shot in the corner every 5 possessions down, then something's wrong, right? So again, if we got a great blitzer, let's blitz him, right? If we got a great cover guy, let's let him play man, and let's not overthink it. So that'll be our thought process going into it. You know, I recognize that's very easy to say in the offseason. When you haven't played a game, you're 0-0, so everybody's happy, so am I. But that'll be our mindset, and that's what we believe in.
Coach Troy Rink from the Denver Post.
Okay.
When you took the job with Coach Prime,
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's very high profile. It's
Yep.
probably the most high profile program in the country last year. How did you kind of embrace that idea that you're going to be living on social media and coaching for a coach who's got very high expectations given his resume as both a player and now a coach?
Yeah, it's just football, I think is what I would say. I don't have social media. I don't know what goes on out there. I'm the old man who's like 38. So I see a lot of cameras. I'm not really sure what they're filming or what they're doing. It's all about the guys to me. I think when you get a chance to do it your way and to lead men, that's really what it's about. So whether it's the staff, whether it's the players, you know, you get a chance to do it, again, your way. You've thought about doing this your whole life. Hey, I'm going to do this on the first day, and the first day comes, and then you say, oh, shit, what do I do on the second day? So, you know, that part's fun. I mean, this process is great. It's there's great guys. It's a great staff. If we play great defense, when we play great defense, the players deserve all the credit, especially in this climate of NIL and insert whatever 3 letters you want to they should get every accolade. If we're no good, it's all my fault. Right, so I don't want to be in the front. I want them to get all the credit because they're the ones that are putting in the work. Right, we're the trainers. Right, we got to get them to the starting gate, and once the season starts and the gates open, away we go. So that's kind of how I view it.
Hi, Coach. Troy Finnegan, CU
Hey, Troy.
Sports Report. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You've worked with Lou Anarumo for
I did.
a while, one of the best in the business. What are some of the biggest things that you've learned from him about how to be a defensive coordinator that you can bring here?
Yeah, Lou's been great to me. Lou came in 5 years ago. You know, I was on staff with Marvin. I survived the purge. That's always a tough time in any business. You know, a new guy comes in, and Lou gave me a chance. And I think I see the way the game is played through Lou, you know, from, again, a personnel-driven thing. You know, we look different when we played the Chiefs than we did when we played Baltimore. It's just what it is. It's Lamar Jackson versus Pat Mahomes. I mean, they're both elite, but they have a different skill set. So I think the packages, I think if you really look at kind of what we did on third down and who was playing and things like that, again, it's a little bit of a different game because you only have 46 guys, right? So, again, if you get a jersey, you got to play. You got to have a role. So let's clearly define that role, and let's take that forward. I think especially with younger players, Lou's done a great job of giving them a little bit and letting them grow in that role, and then their role expands, right? I think the worst thing you can do with a young player is throw them in the deep end and see if they can swim, right? Let's let them wade out there a little bit, get some confidence, right? Get to playing fast, communicate all those things that we talk about, and then go from there. But Lou's been great. Zach's been great. Really, the Bengals organization from Mr. Brown, his family, Duke Tobin, they changed my life. They gave me a chance. I was at a place for 12 years. Like, I'm not naive. That does not happen. So it should kind of speak the volumes of how I feel about this place. You know, to walk away from something is never easy. Again, you have relationships with the staff, with ownership, with the players. But this was an opportunity that I just felt that strongly about.
Coach Kyle Newman from the Denver Post.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing, Coach? Travis Hunter specifically, I mean, obviously the most high-profile player in this defense.
Who's that? I'm just kidding.
What do you see in his, potential in year 2 here in Boulder? What's his ceiling, and kind of how do you envision his role increasing in your system?
Yeah, he's a unicorn. I think we all recognize that. Travis can be elite at whatever he wants to be. I think the first thing you notice about Travis is he's genuine. He's who he is, right? There's no facade. There's nothing fake about him. He's a great guy. So it all starts there, right? The better people you have in the locker room, the better locker room you'll have. I think he can be a shutdown corner. He played some offense today. Unfortunately for us, playing defense, I think he can be an elite receiver. So he's a mismatch on each side of the ball. You know, the amazing thing about him is how he studies. You know, we had a conversation the day before practice, like, hey, Trav, you know, what can I do for you to make sure we put things in buckets? And he said, no, Coach, I'm good. I got it. So I've been amazed at really, number one, who Travis is, and then his ability to retain information. So I think the sky's the limit for him. He can be as good as anybody I've ever been around, and that's the standard for him.
Rob, David, I'm with The Athletic. Two questions for you. One,
Yep.
what questions did you have for Dion before you came and took this job? And two, what metrics are most important to you when you assess how your defense is playing?
Yeah, the first part, probably why me? Why am I this lucky? We met, and again, we hit it off. I think the unbelievable thing about Coach Prime is he's the same guy every day. I think in any profession you've been in, you kind of walk in like, ooh, who am I going to get today? I mean, he's the same guy. And when you work for somebody that you know what you're getting every day, I mean, that's a phenomenal gift. And then in terms of metrics, it's always been the same thing for me. Yards don't equal points, right? If you want to be a great defense, you got to play great situationally, right? So that's third down, that's red zone, and that's kind of that middle eight, right? So think about it. There's, let's say, 1:25 left. They're on R40. It's third and long. Do you go get them? Do you bring pressure? So now all of a sudden you can knock them out of field goal range so you can punt. So again, Travis and Shedeur and the offense can go to work, and they score, and they get the ball in the second half, and maybe it's a 10 to 14 point swing. So we got to be great situationally. I think you win early downs in the off season. The stuff that we're running today ad nauseum is the same stuff we'll run all year, and so we'll get great at early down stuff, and then third down will be a lot of fun as the year goes on. Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right. Some familiar faces. Already no questions. Huh?
Hey, Coach. Brian Howell from the Bowl Daily Camera. What was the process like for you going from the analyst to getting this full time, and what's your excitement level getting back into the coordinator role?
Yeah, so last year in the summer, in fact, I was walking my daughter down the aisle. It was her wedding day, and I got a call from Coach Prime to come out. He wanted just somebody to come out and put some pro eyes on things, be around Shedeur. It had to be kind of an unofficial deal. As an analyst, you really don't have a defined role. You're just helping with the coaches and whatnot. And so that's where it started. And then when I got here, as time went on, we all know kind of what happened. And things happen for reasons, and then just tried to take over at the end. Unfortunately, at the end, of the 4 games that I was calling, really Shedeur was only really healthy for one of them, unfortunately. The Oregon State game, he kind of came in banged up. We had tried to change gears then. He was kind of banged up all week, and he struggled through it. The next game against Arizona, did a good job. We were in a position to kick a field goal for the win. I think we scored 31, The next week we kind of got worked when we went to Washington State. Well, he was hurt again, so he was in and out of the lineup. We played 3 quarterbacks. It was a tough scenario, but they battled through it. And then the last week against Utah, we really tried to slow it down and give Ryan Staub the best opportunity to play a good game, which I thought he did. We're kind of working the throttle and trying to get through it and win games. And unfortunately, we didn't win the games, but it was, I guess every experience in life is something you can learn from, and so then we move on, and now we're able to kind of set some stakes in the ground and do some things that we need to do better to play winning football. Winning football is what you need to do, and it obviously starts by being able to run the ball and protect the passer. We obviously know how dynamic Shedeur can be. It was a credit to our guys this offseason. They went out and got us some quality big people that will help us be able to do that so we can play winning football. Thought early in the year, we did some really good things. But then when we had to really drop our anchor and block guys and, run the ball, pass the ball, and do more things, that's kind of where we struggled. And then it just kind of vibrates through your team. So.
Hey, Coach. Jake Schwanitz, DMVR. Last season, Dylan Edwards really exploded onto the scene, and then he struggled to kind of get back to that production. How do you project his role just this year? Any changes to what you expect out of him?
Now we're going to try to use his, his talents and his strengths. Obviously, he can be very dynamic with the ball in his hands. He had a lot of production early on, and as the season wore on, I think it's fair to say he got kind of banged up too. I don't think there's the same injury criteria, so we can talk about that stuff, unlike the other league, right? But he was pretty banged up, and he fought through it. And so we're going to try to use his strengths this year and do it from day one. So practice plays here in training that maybe you won't see that we're going to plan to use, whether it's style of running them to the perimeter, catching passes, try to utilize his strengths and practice them early and just not try to crank up plays like midweek for him. So that's sort of what we do. And it's really, I think that's kind of the NFL thing. You're always trying to maximize the strengths of the players you have first. Like we talked to the quarterbacks about the 4 pillars of decision-making. It starts with matchup, and then it's space, numbers, and leverage, but you always got to be aware of, okay, is Travis in the game? Is Dylan in the game? And utilize all your players that way, which is a little bit different than just kind of running plays, and so we're going to try to do that well. Try to.
Coach Matt Smith, 104.3 The Fan. Good to see you again. To follow up on Brian's question, throughout the transition of last year, I imagine spending 25 years in the NFL and then coming back to college, that's quite the transition. Did you feel maybe re-energized by the fact that you were around maybe some younger guys and had a chance to look at the game a different way?
100%. I think that I was hoping to be able to get to that, and you kind of answered it for me. Yeah, I do. I do feel re-energized by the younger player, and they're all ears. And I can't tell you how many meals I've had where, they're, tell me about Michael Vick, tell me about Sam Bradford, what was Case Keenum like, tell me about a young Drew Lock. It really, they want perspective. And I think the end game for some of these guys is going to be pro football, so they're always looking for the perspective. How did Donovan McNabb do this? Or, what would have happened here? Tell me about T.O., all the guys that you've been around. And, that's kind of a neat piece. If I were ever a boss at this level, I think it's really important, whatever their role is, you should really bring in guys with pro experience to help give these young men that perspective. And so that's been fun. But it's a different game than the pro game. The pro game, like we're in 10 personnel a lot. Well, most pro rosters, you can't get into 10 because your roster doesn't, you need the tight ends, and so you're in 11, 12, and 13. So it's a different game. For the first week or so, I thought when you got 1 foot down, it was out still. So there's things you got to learn. You're on the hash mark, which is it's a big field here. Where in pro ball, you're always in the middle. So there's a lot of field boundary configuration. So all that part's fun. And it's a much more wide open game. So that's why, in my opinion, there's more numbers in college. You see games where there's 600 yards of offense, and some of the stuff that you'll never see, in the NFL because and a lot of it's driven by the roster. In the NFL, you had to have 3 or 4 tight ends, a couple of backs, only a handful of receivers instead of a whole room full of them. And so it's a different game.
The other thing, sorry, real quick, I was going to ask you is about scheme transition and how you feel like now that you have a chance to put your system in place, what the difference in the offense might look like compared to last year.
Well, like I said, I think we need to protect the passer and run the ball much better than we did last year. And so you got to practice those things, But we still have to utilize the strengths of a dynamic quarterback and throw the ball. So it's going to be fun, Every place I've been, I've tried to spread the ball around, and make sure everybody was getting their touches, whether it be tight ends. Like last year, we really didn't even have tight ends. Michael Harrison did a great job. I think he was in the program as a tight end, but he really had the skill set of a wideout. So that makes it different too. Even when you're in 11, you're probably playing it like 10. So that's why we've added bodies and pieces and young men that have the skill set to be able to do more of those things.
Hey, Coach, Pat Graham, Associated Press. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
Shedeur's already being projected as a high draft pick next year. What does he have for as great a season as he had last year? What does he have to do to take the next step? How do you get him to take that next step, and what does he have to do?
Well, I think he's just, like any young player, just continue to improve. The things that he's really, really good at, though, he's got an uncanny ability to throw the ball accurately. He sees things extremely well. He's got a really good feel for situations. He's played a lot of football. He's a young man, but he's played a lot of football. He's probably been a starter everywhere he's played, starting with his dad in the lower levels. But he has a really good feel for it. That three-dimensional, natural feel for what's open, what's not, where to put the ball. We all know when you see it that it's not good. So with him, when you see it, it's really good. And so that's why he's fun to work with. He has a really good feel for all those things that you need to be able to do as a quarterback. And so we just got to improve on all those things.
Coach Troy Rigg from the Denver Post. What is it like working for Coach Prime? And how is that, how is that process? Do you have autonomy, or is it a collaborative thing regarding the offense? And did you have a prior relationship with him other than, maybe you obviously maybe coached against him or knew him in the NFL?
Yeah, so obviously I was a young coach when he was still in the league. We're about the same age, so in some ways we're kind of rejuvenating young by the environment we're in, but we've got experience. I think that's good. I did have a relationship with him, obviously playing against him as a player, and then Mike Zimmer and I, when I worked for Zim, those years in Minnesota, they had a relationship, so that helped kind of connect the dots there. And it's been good. I think we're able to communicate really, really well. He is a head coach. He does an amazing job of communicating his mission and his vision to the players, and he's really fun to work for because of that. In a lot of ways, he's old school. So all the things that we learned, no tank tops in the meal room and always got something on your feet. Some of the old school things that we, no hats in the meeting, all the stuff. Some of the old school stuff that we kind of taught, and he was obviously taught, it comes through on the players, and I think it's really good. So for me, I'm kind of, I feel young again because of that, and he really is fun to work for. And I'm here for him. I'm here for his son. I'm here to help in any way possible to help this program have success because I do believe in his mission.
Pat, David Upman with The Athletic right here. Obviously, what Sean did offensively is pretty unique in college football. How much of that do you think you guys will still use this year? And then schematically, how would you describe what you guys want to do to attack defense?
Yeah, no, Sean's had great success places he's been. I think some of the things that we did well, we'll try to, incorporate and keep going with. But then there's obviously other things that we're going to do that's going to be way different. So I think because you have returning players, and I've kind of always, I don't mind what we call it. If it's curl flat, there's 5 ways to call it, so let's call it. And then some of the stakes that are in the ground from last year, we called it an apple last year. This year it's an orange. We're gonna go with that a little bit because then for the guys that are here, they don't get that. Oh man, we're starting over. I think it's good when you take over something and you have new players that if there's something they can hang their hat on. And so what we're going to do is go back and look at the things that we did well last year that we continue to like, and then add things to it that will help us be even better. And really, believe it or not, they're doing the same thing in the Kansas City Chiefs building. That's what we do as coaches, Places I've been, if you had a play that you loved that didn't work real well, you'd say, let's put that one on the shelf, Then you move on to something else. Then you look at trends, right? Are things trending in college or pro football that are good? And then you try to make it your own and make it better. The first year of football, everybody invented everything, and we've been copying it all since. And I think that's pretty much what it's all about.
Thank you, Coach.
That it?
Yes, sir.
You didn't tell them
That
how
was
play
quick.
23 worked.
Play 23. So we were in their script, and he came in and he said, play 23, I think, went for a touchdown today. So that was his play. Dumbo right, Liz, went for a touchdown. So anyways, So if you guys got any ideas, and I'm sure you got a lot of great ideas, just get them to us. We'll run it. All right? All right, guys.
Too many cameras, but I give it to you. It's spaced around Dylan Edwards. It was today that I started. I saw that tag. Missed some of you guys that didn't. Start off with the main things. Rick George, Athletic Director of the Year. Wow, that is awesome, isn't it? He is doing a heck of a job with all the sports, all the programs here. Men's basketball team opened up with the tournament tonight. The women plays Drake on Friday. First time in 11 years both programs advanced to the tournament. awesome. The ski team won the championships, which was awesome. I might start skiing now and get off the snowmobile. The tennis team is 12-3, awesome. The golf, lacrosse, and track and field teams are off the strong starts as well. Spring game, April 27th. We're still waiting on television to see. We know ESPN is dealing with the draft, and we're waiting on probably Fox and still Pac-12 to see what they're going to do so we could announce this thing and get these tickets sold out because we're going to sell out the spring game. Students of the week, Nana Watson, freshman safety, Nikhil Webb-Walker, sophomore outside linebacker, journalism major, first guy, second guy, economics major, which is great. Okay, here we go. Now, I got these depth charts out just in case you guys ask me about that. Good to be back. Had 2 really good practices, and I'm so excited about this season. I'm excited about this staff. You guys just talked to the OCDC, right? They're really good, aren't they? Personable. Communication is tremendous, how they're relating and their relatability to the team. The staff, to me, is phenomenal from top to bottom. And I think we still got maybe one more piece that we're going to add significantly. But I'm so excited about what I'm seeing out there. Let's go.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
Go ahead.
I got a two-parter, but I know you like one at a time.
Yeah.
So first one is, has it started to set in?
I like your haircut. Let's get that straight.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I like your shoes.
Thank you, sir.
Has it started to set in for you that this could be your last year coaching your kids?
Yeah, it's been it set in quite some time ago. I mean, I'm a real dad, which means that we have a tremendous relationship, which means that we communicate often, daily, and we can't wait to take our son's vacation this weekend when spring break commences. So I can't wait so we can talk about other things in life that our plans and our preparations. But it's phenomenal. I think it's been a tremendous journey, and I think Shedeur, he played 4 games without me when I went out with my leg injury. That's it in his entire life, which is crazy. So I'm thinking about it. Also, Shallow says every time I mention Shedeur to make sure I mention him, that he's in the first round as well. That's what he told me, to make sure.
The follow-up would be, years from now when they're talking about what it was like to be coached by you, what would you hope they say?
I don't care what they say. I know what they're going to say, but you guys ask them that. I pretty much know. I know my kids like the back of my hand. I know my daughter, she just came to meet me right after practice with a big smile and a hug. That meant that she needed some money for the trip. So we just went up there and made that exchange and cut through the small talk, and that was it, you know. She's going to get ready to depart in a little bit, and I know she needed some money just by her presence. Yeah. Know my kids.
Brian Howell
Yes,
from Bold
sir.
Daily Camera. Also have two-parter, but would it be safe to say that going into spring last year, you kind of knew that a lot of that roster was not going to be here?
Oh, most definitely. You guys knew too, but it's funny that when I say it, it's a problem.
Well, but
You know, why is that? When I say what everybody's thinking, why is it a problem? Like I said some things about the offensive line last year. I wasn't derogatory to them. I just said I said saying that everybody was thinking watching the game. Why is it a problem? I'm just asking everybody. Why is it a problem when I say what you're thinking? Probably a little oversensitized and worried about other people. I like that. So that's not my problem. That's your problem. Okay. But I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but you know, you got the power of the pen and now the fingers and all that. It's just that sounded really bad, but you have power. It sounded really bad. You have power.
So my lead into that is, I mean, you went into last spring kind of knowing this is not going to be our team, but this year,
Exactly.
I would imagine, I mean, the group that's here, you feel much better about them. So I'm just curious,
truly so.
Do you feel that you guys are going to be much further ahead than
we
you were
already
last year
ahead.
because you'll have
You're
people
already
here?
ahead. I mean, at this time last year, we darn near just met everybody. We pretty much had a gauge on everybody. We knew what they were capable of and what they weren't capable of. This year, you're just trying to make sure the pieces fit. You know what you have. You know the depth that you have, and you know several other pieces are going to be added as soon as the spring is over. You know that's going to happen this summer, and we already know. Some names you may not know, but we already do. So it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be phenomenal.
Coach Kyle Newman from the Denver Post. So with Livingston, his experience with the Bengals, obviously Shermer, decades in the NFL.
Keep going. Keep going.
How do you see that?
No, stop.
How do you
Keep
see,
going. No. We got several other guys from the NFL. Keep going.
How do you see all the NFL experience translating to this year?
How can you tell somebody where to go if you haven't been there? It's hard for you guys to tell me how to get to your crib, if you hadn't been there, but that's where you live. It's easy that way, right? And it's these kids today, man, it's not how we grew up. My parents say, because I said so, and you took it. Why? Why? Prove it to me. Show me. Like, it's the show me type of young generation and prove it to me generation. Let me see your credentials type of generation. So when you compose a staff that pretty much embodies the NFL and where they're directed to, that is phenomenal. I think eight out of the 11 staffers either played or coached in the NFL, and that's phenomenal. Then you throw me in, it's 9. That's just tremendous to me. It really is.
Coach, when we spoke in Utah, one of the last things we talked about was running the football and the importance and the emphasis that you were going to put on it this offseason. You told us that running the football was 1A and stopping the run was 1B, and you didn't know which order. How did you go about addressing that this offseason?
We were trying to address that. We were trying to address that along for some time now. It's like, as a coach, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you know what you got. Just like as a man, as a human being, as a woman and a man, you know your strengths and weaknesses, and you know what you possess. You got to overdress yourself if you're not handsome, right? You got to cause a diversion and highlight yourself other places, and that's what we did. But sooner or later, they found the tremendous flaws. But we feel as though we addressed a multitude of the needs. We could use a little more depth at the linebacker position, but shoot, the guys they're fighting their butts off right now. They're getting to the ball. They're doing what we need them to do. But we know what we still have coming, and we know how the situation that we're going to address. So I'm pretty good, not just with the starters, but the depth, because that's a tremendous asset that you need to play the amount of games that we plan on playing this year. It's not going to be just 12.
As a quick follow-up, Alton McCaskill, right, kind of shut him down at the end of the year last year.
Well, Alton wasn't ready. I didn't shut him down. He wasn't ready. Yeah. Alton wasn't ready, man.
So now, how does he look and how excited?
He looks good. Shoot, he looks good. But you got to understand, I can look at this depth chart and say, Dylan looks good too, right? like Savion looks good too. And a young freshman, he's tremendous as well. So, and we may add to that room as well, because you never know. See, the thing about coaching these days, you got to think way down the street. You don't just think here. So you just think, oh, my God, these kids are wonderful that you have. But somebody's going to jump in the portal after spring. They're going to do that, and you got to prepare for that stuff. So you prepare for that as well as embrace what you have. So it's a different game right now. Totally different game.
Hey, Coach, Pat Graham, Associated Press. As a father, as a coach, you hear back and fracture, and it's scary.
Yeah.
How's Shedeur? How's he recovering?
He's good. He's awesome. He really is. He's recovered immensely. I think he's 7 times better. His back is. That's how many linemen we got, right? New linemen. What is it, 7 or 8? 8. He's 8 times better. I'm serious. Than his back is than he was last year. I mean, the way he's feeling, he really is. So we're good.
And then I guess just to follow up on that, would be he's projected as a high draft pick next year. What steps is
Shedeur,
he
let's just get this straight. Let's get the elephant in the room. Shedeur would have been a high draft pick this year. Okay, let's just stop the foolishness, and you get mad when I tell you I'm the only reason I know that, because don't you think I know people in the NFL? I'm sorry. I played for how many years? 14. Got a gold jacket at the crib, I think. I think I know some people. The Jerry Joneses, Arthur Blanks. Yeah, I know some people in the game. The Roger Goodells, I know some people. So when I speak, I'm not just throwing stuff out of my head. I'm throwing stuff based on knowledge. So let's just get that straight. If Shedeur would have gone in the draft this year, he probably would have been the second. He wouldn't have been the first quarterback off the board. I think he had the ability, but he probably would have been the second quarterback off the board. Let's just get that straight. I had to vent for a minute. I'm sorry. I had to get that out.
What is there maybe something that you want to see him elevate just a little bit more?
Yeah. I want to see him just take it to another level. It's not something that I can say, you got to do better than that. Because, see, when I get on him, sometimes it's too premature because I go back and watch the film and I say, okay, I see why you had to hold the ball right there. I see, well, we blew a darn route. I think it was one of the games at the end of the game. I think that's where he threw the pick. We had two guys running to each other. You guys didn't even know that, right? We got two guys running to each other on under routes. That's why he had to, see, you don't understand that stuff. That's why he had to hold the ball, and he digressed a bit, then just threw it up for Jesus. And the other team caught it.
Hi, Coach. Adam Munster, Tiger 24/7.
My man.
Good to see you.
How you doing, sir?
Doing well, doing well. We had a chance to talk to Phil Lodeholt the other day. He mentioned that he spent some quality time with you before getting hired. During that process, what made him stand out to you?
Shoot. His knowledge, his thought process, his the way when we met at the crib, matter of fact, in Texas. Just the way he came to the interview ready and prepared, and what he could add to the room. He just had a commanding presence, not just about his size, but his relatability to the young men in today's game, as well as his ability to recruit. Because you got to look at all that, not just a coach, can he recruit? And that's things you really got to think about now. And he checked every darn box and then some. And now to see him at work, to see how they respond to him, to see how attentive he is, detailed, and how detail-oriented he is, he's a gem. Thank God we got him, because he is darn believable, and those guys work their butts off for him, and he holds them accountable, truly. Plus, he was a dog, man. Like, he was a dog. Like, so all you had to do is go in the film room and just turn the film on and say, let me critique this tackle. He didn't even tell him it was him. Then you seeing what he does and all that, and then you say, oh, shoot, that was you? So he's been there and done that, and that gives him instant credibility in his room. But his commanding voice, and Gunner is doing a wonderful job, the assistant. He's been with me since Jackson, so that room is going to be good. It's really going to be good. Those kids are just nasty, man. They don't play, man. It was a fight today, good one, too. I told him when the helmet's off, you got to stop. You got to stop. But it was a good one today. God, it was a good one. I don't advocate that, but when it happens, I see you got that thing, and you got that dog in it, man. And it was offense versus defense. They went at it today, man. And I like that. I don't like them to fight, not whatsoever, but I like that intensity, in a days that we're not even padded. So, but Phil is unbelievable, man. Thank God we got him.
Yeah, Coach, I love how you're raw, you're candid, you hold players accountable, but now after one season of coaching at this level, what did you see about yourself that you would want to do better, a game day coach specifically?
Let's focus on this level first. You said that like this was like Jesus was on the field, playing. This level is this level. This level has players that are a little better on the front lines than it was at Jackson, but the skill positions, I think, are equal. Quarterback's a little different as well. They're phenomenal as well. But this level is this level. I played at extreme level. Remember that? Yeah, for 14 of them. So I understand this level. For me, in-game things that may happen, you can't prepare yourself for everything, but you try to. But some things that you want to change, just the thought process going into it. But it's going to be tremendous, much better communication. First of all, we have microphones in the helmets now, so the direct, we could talk right to the quarterback or right to the linebacker and get the calls in. That's going to be phenomenal. That's going to help tremendously. I wish it was several guys on each side of the ball, which would be tremendous. But in-game type of things, you can't be prepared for them, but you got to think through all of them. And I think we may have missed the boat on a couple occasions. But overall, I think it was a good season when it comes to that. But I'm very harsh on myself, much more harsh than you guys are. But we're going to win. I know that. You know that. We're going to win.
Hi, Coach. Taylor Sadusky with Buff Speeds.
How you doing, sweetheart?
Doing great. How about you?
She is also, we know each other. I came in there for autograph signing into a restaurant, and she was the hostess to the mostest and did a wonderful job. So I remember her face.
Yeah, glad to see you again.
Amen.
But I'm just curious, how important is it for you to know like the personalities and how your players operate to for the success of this team on an
Tremendously.
individual? Yeah.
Because you know what buttons to push. You know who's who, what's what. You know fundamentally how these kids are and what gets them going. And you know that from their visits and when they come and they present themselves. But when they get on the field, see, I go in the weight room and I sit there and work out myself, but I'm watching them. So I go on the field. I run, get my laps in, but I'm watching them. I'm watching how they respond to adversity. I'm watching how they act when they're tired. I'm watching how they relate to their other players. I sit in meetings often, watch how they relate to the coach. Are they do they pay attention to detail? I'm always watching to find out different things about our kids, because sometimes you get a kid here and he's so much more than you thought he would be, and sometimes it's the opposite. But you got to know that, so you don't put him in situations where he's not going to succeed. You want to make sure we put him in situations where they're very successful on and off the field. Great question, though.
Hey, Coach, Jack Harlow with the
Jack Harlow.
I'm back. Just with the incoming freshmen and the transfers that are here, just have you seen those new guys kind of mesh with the guys that are already here?
Oh, wonderful, especially the darn O-line. I mean, they're everywhere together. I think Coach Rob took the safeties out yesterday. I think they went to dinner last night and had a wonderful time. But the coaches have established relationships with all the team. That's the most important thing, the coaches and the relationship with their groups. But these guys, I told you, it's always tough for older people to get along, not kids or young adults. They get along quite easily, especially when they find a commonality. Like who works hard, they hang together. Who don't, they hang together. Who does their homework and their schoolwork, they hang together. Who don't, they hang together. Like it's easy for me to know who you are when I'm in the cafeteria because I eat with them. I try to do everything with the kids. When I see what table they're sitting at. If you sitting at the table with the knuckleheads that don't want to work, pretty much you telling me that's who you are. So it's easy to dissect that, but it's very vital to find that out.
Right here, Mark Kisla, Denver Gazette. When you gather this team now in the team meeting room, what do you see in that room now that you didn't a year ago?
Some dogs.
And as a result, I assume you see more talent.
Yes.
As a result, do you talk to them differently in terms of goals and expectations?
I don't talk to them differently. No, the standard is the standard, regardless of who's out there. These young men really understand the purpose and they understand the goals. Like, I think we had a message today. I don't know if Darius put it out yet, but we were talking about how we break down 100 players, and 10 of them, I believe we said that they got it. They know they got it. They're willing to work. Then I think it was 25 of them, Darius, that figured they think they got it. They think they're on the right path, but you don't know. Then you got another 20 that's looking to get out, but they haven't gotten an opportunity. Like I mapped out the collection of 100 young men in every room, not just our room, and where they are. But when I look out there now, I see guys hungry, eager, and have a commitment and willing to sacrifice whatever it is to get to the next level. And their goal is to get to the NFL, and my goal is to prayerfully get them there as well as their education. But these guys are different, man. It's some different cats in there right now. There's some different coaches up there as well. It's a tremendous difference. Going back to what you asked me about coaching, that's another thing that I learned. You got to really take your time and truly be prayerful to understand who's in your room and who you bring in. Sometimes you think it clicks, but it just don't click. It just don't work. And that's not saying a guy's a bad guy or a bad person, but it may not work for you, may not work for me, and sometimes it didn't. That does not mean that they can't go somewhere and soar. Like the Atlanta Falcons, it worked for me athletically, but winning-wise, it didn't. So we went and we went to San Francisco, and it worked out tremendously, as well as Dallas. So some things that Initially, it may not, and that's what transpired a little bit with the staff and some of the players. But I feel so darn good right now about the staff, about the team, about the city, about everything that we're doing right now. We're on practice 3 on Friday. I think we're going to pad up Friday because I think 2 practices, then you could hit each other. I know what's going to go down Friday. I really do. We may have to have the police out there Friday because it's going down Friday. I promise you that. These guys are a little different.
Did you expect too much of them last year?
No, I didn't. I knew my team. I knew them. I knew what we had. I knew what we didn't have. I think truly we could have put them in better situations to be successful. I think everybody, including the staff, wasn't built for the noise. What I mean by the noise, everybody's not built for the moment. You got to understand that. And shoot, we took the moment to the greatest heights. It was like, shoot, and we plan on doing that again. But everybody's not built for that stage. That stage comes with tremendous responsibility. And you got to get young men that are used to that and committed to that and want it and relish that opportunity to be on that stage. And they're ready to grab that microphone and hit that note. I mean, you got to have those type of guys, and I feel as though the goal is to get 8 dogs on the side of the ball, 7 or 8 dogs that you know what you're going to get on a Saturday. And we got some guys that I'm happy about. Let me address something else that I think I need to address. I don't know who did it. I don't know if they're in here. If they are, you could just raise your hand like we did when we were in nursery and we said here. There's an article that came out that said I don't go on visits. Okay. My approach, it's totally different than many coaches' approach. Sometimes I'm a businessman as well, so I try to save our university money every darn chance I get. So for me to go to, let's just say I'm going to Florida and I'm visiting whatever school, IMG. You don't think those coaches are going to be a little upset if I don't come by the school down the street? You don't think it's going to be pandemonium if I'm going to get naysayed if I don't go another 45 minutes? Then if I go to that one, then I go, well, I didn't come to that school. Now the coach is mad, so he's not going to let the kid come because he's mad because I chose that, go to that school over that school. See, other coaches, they could do that, but I can't. I can't. And I've really pretty much done a personal survey. I really, truly, in all my heart, believe that parents don't want me at their house. They want to come see my house. They want to see how I live, how I get down. They want to see what I got going on, what God has done in my life. I know when I was in college, I did not want Bobby Bowden in my house because I knew after 7 o'clock it was going to be rats and roaches on parade doing their thing. So that was just straight up, honestly. I didn't. So that never transpired. That never happened for me. And we target mostly guys that's in the portal. When do you make visits to portal guys' homes? Anybody do that? Do they do that? I don't do. Anybody? Have you guys heard of that? I don't. I think when a guy is in his 20s and he has 1 or 2 more shots, he don't give a darn about the picture. He don't give a darn about the parade that you want to take him on. He wants to know, okay, how are you going to use me? How can you help me get to the league? And what am I going to get paid? That's it. That's the world we live in now. I have never heard one guy say, I chose this college because this coach came by my crib. Have you? It's different now. The parents, I love them, and I want to show them Boulder. I want them to see this and how beautiful it is and why I'm so eager and how much I love this city and this state and this team. I want them to see that because guess what? That's where the kid is coming. Kid coming here. Going there is just showcase for me. That's just blowing money. Just blowing a bag. Don't make sense. And I can't do the things other coaches can do. You know why? I'm Coach Prime. And I didn't stutter when I said it. Shedeur, let me see. Shedeur, bring Shedeur in. That was a great ending. It was a great landing, wasn't it? Had to get it off my chest. George, come on. Where's he at? How you doing? Where the big fella? Mr. Sapp just texted me good morning. I mean, good afternoon. That's what he said. Come here. Were you out there fighting today?
Nah, I ain't fighting today.
You heard what he said. I ain't fight today. I
Fight
didn't,
every play, though.
I didn't see you driving somebody down the field 15 yards trying to push him and overly aggressive.
Well,
did I see
do.
that?
Yeah, that I did do. That was me. I take credit for that one.
Do you understand that difference, what he just said? Y'all didn't catch that. I just did that so y'all will understand the difference. This man is different.
Appreciate
He's
you,
built
Coach.
different. Love you, boy.
Yes, sir. Love you. How you guys doing? Good morning. Good morning. It's probably the afternoon by now, though.
Hey, Jordan, Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado. Just want to get your impression of the offensive line. You weren't here last year. Obviously, the O-line struggled last year, but you and the new guys they've brought in, how are you gelling? Coach talked about a lot of competition on that line. Just your impressions of the O-line so far.
Yeah, my impressions on the O-line is actually, it's been very good. I'm playing with a lot of people with experience, a lot of people with veterans. We got Khalil Benson. We got Justin, Yakari, and not only them, but Coach Phil, great person, great coach, and he's a 12-year vet. Y'all probably seen him here like a couple of days ago. Who knows, but he knows his stuff, and this year is going to be different.
Hey, Jordan, Jake Schwartz, DMVR. Just wanted to ask you more about Coach Lodeholt, what it's been like working with him so far, and what you learned from him the most so far.
What I learned from him the most, even when I do good, he finds something to pick out, you know. For him, it's not being the best right now, but the best in the long run, and hopefully better than him. 12-year vet, so he's very strategic, very technical, and he takes everything like very, very serious. Like the little things, those is what he looks for the most. And I think sometimes when you get like a big name guy, those little things kind of get overlooked. So with him, he doesn't overlook them.
Hey, Jordan. Brian Howell from the Boulder Daily Camera.
How you doing?
Coach was just saying that, some of the guys last year maybe were not ready for the shine, but you're making your announcement on Fox. You're, doing a lot of these things on social media. You seem to be ready for it. Do you like the spotlight of you, and you seem to have embraced it? Do you enjoy that?
Spotlight's actually kind of hard. Sometimes you get overwhelmed. I look at it as like a day-by-day thing. I don't really look forward, like, oh, I'm in the spotlight this, or I can't wait to be on the news and stuff. I kind of just want to work. And then with working hard and with putting your dedication to the sport, like the spotlight, all the Instagram stuff, all that stuff kind of comes with it. So it does get overwhelming, and sometimes you got to embrace it, but sometimes you got to know when it's like, all right, it's time to lock in and put that stuff to the side. Yeah, I mean, it's chill. Coming from IMG, we kind of prepare for all stuff like that. So, yeah, we're chilling. Yes, sir.
Matt Smith, 104.3 The Fan. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
You could have gone pretty much anywhere you wanted to, right?
Yes,
You had
sir.
offers all over, biggest schools, but you got the opportunity to come here, and now you're blocking for the potential #1 overall draft pick next season.
Yeah, he will be.
What does that fire you up a little bit more? That hey, look, I'm gonna have the you just talked about it's hard to be in that shine, but you will be. Did that fire you up a little bit more to say, hey, Shedeur is here, I'm gonna come play and protect Shedeur?
Me personally, whoever's behind in the quarterback position, I'm gonna block my butt off, But the bond that me and Shedeur have is it just makes you want to go a little bit harder. It's like when you have a connection with somebody, it's just kind of different. I don't know how to put it, I kind of get happy when I talk about it because we have a great relationship, and like the whole O-line, like we all go out to eat. We kind of do everything together, like travel, and I feel like with him back there, he's so calm and he fills the pocket so well that he ultimately makes my job easy, I still got a hard job, everybody doing O-line, but with him being so calm and him knowing how to move in the pocket, he tends to just get it out quick and do his thing.
Hey, Jordan, Pat Rams, Associated Press. How you doing?
How you doing?
I guess Going back to when you were deciding on schools, what was the view outside looking into this program, and has it matched what you thought it would be? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Honestly, my expectations weren't that high for when I came here. But now it's amazing. Like, we got Chef Carl. That's kind of like my favorite person. I'm a big guy, so we love to eat. So yeah, Chef Carl, he's amazing. Having the nutritionist that we have, and honestly, the people at this university, it's amazing. Like everybody just clicks. Like, we just click. And I haven't really seen that on a lot of my visits. I kind of been everywhere in the nation, from freaking Oregon to all the way back in Maryland, where I'm from, you know? So I kind of seen it all, seen what every university brought. And right here, this was the best fit for me. And then Coach Prime, he's Coach Prime, y'all see. So who wouldn't want to play for him, you know?
Jordan, Troy Finnegan, CU Sports Report. You talked about Coach Lodeholt, but the whole staff is littered with guys with NFL experience. What are some of those professional habits that they have given you that you've kind of picked up in your short time here?
That's a good one. I like that one. First off, tucked in shirts. It's not really mandatory. I do it myself though, cause you know, I just been doing it for a long time. So tucked in shirts when we go in the weight room. Making sure we don't got little wrinkles in our socks. He likes our socks just straight, go dang near touching your knees, you know. So, but not only just like apparel, like coming to the meeting 15 minutes early. You never know when the meeting's going to start. We got an 8 o'clock meeting that might start at 7:42. It might start at 7:53. So just being there before Coach Prime gets in, that's a good habit to carry on, because when you get in the league and you miss those meetings, now you got fines. So it's just like now you're being up early and being able to correlate from college and transfer to NFL.
Hey, Jordan, Chase Howell from Action Network. You talked about going to dinner with your O-line group. Were you nervous at all about how they would accept you, them being a lot of veteran guys, you coming in as a freshman?
Nah, I mean, I'm a good-spirited guy, so I kind of get along with anybody. If you're chill, you're nice. One thing I don't do is just like the cockiness, so nobody's really cocky around us. Everybody knows their potential and know what they're capable of, but as far as big-headed people, we don't really have that on this team. So the dinner was actually amazing. Good steak.
Hey, Jordan. Nikki Edwards, CU Sports Report. You and Shedeur have been on a lot of adventures this offseason. What has been your favorite thing that you've done with him?
Favorite thing? All right, it's actually not a trip, but GTA. We play GTA all day, and he has this thing where he's like, I'm going to spend $100K on nothing. So, like, we'll go, like, to casino on GTA. We'll just ride around on GTA, but we literally do that, like, every single day. So we'll be playing that, me, Justin, and him for, like, 3-4 hours a day. But as far as trips, though, I would want to say Miami. Miami was fun. We get to train, got to shop. It was a cool experience, and then we're always in the cold, so being able to have sunshine, you know, all day, it was amazing.
Hey, Jordan, good to see you, man.
What's up, bro?
When you are someone whose goal is to make it to the NFL, how do you balance that with being in the first spring of your freshman season and not getting too far ahead of yourself?
Just take it day by day. And it's always something that you could work on. It's always something. Me personally, I got a long way to go. So when people trying to think on the big picture, they kind of miss the stuff in between to get to the big picture. So right now I'm just trying to make it through spring ball, you know, just going day by day. And then in the long run, ultimately, my goal will be reached.
Jordan, two-part question for you.
Sir.
I know you guys haven't really put the pads on yet, but how do you feel like you've measured up with college competition at this point?
The game is faster, but Coach Mo in the weight room, he's getting me stronger. So, you know, it's the same thing. You know, you got better rushes, you got better inside moves, but you know, having good feet, having good leverage, playing with good leverage, knowing when to punch, how to punch, what type of punch, just the little things, just making sure that I know what type of set to take on this play, what type of angle to take. Everything. I was working out with some dudes in the league, and what they told me is just it's a game about leverage and angles, taking the right angle having the right leverage. You have no leverage, you have no power. So just knowing like the little things in the game could elevate your game to the ceiling.
And then the second question is, you obviously came in very highly ranked recruit, which a lot of your teammates necessarily weren't, but they've got the college experience. So how much are you kind of leaning on some of those guys to teach you college? You can help learn the college game.
It's a difference from playing and not playing. Those guys been playing, probably 4 years, 3 years. Right tackle been in the Big Ten, seen it all. So me and Khalil, we actually train. So he just gives me point of views of like in-game scenarios. So because he's seen it. So I'm like a visual learner, and I like to learn from people who actually done it. You know, you haven't really done it. It's like, all right, you might know about it, but like, how do you know how it is when you're in the fire? You know.
Jordan, Kyle Newman, Denver Post. This offensive line took a lot of heat last year, and I know obviously you're new here, but what's your expectation as to how this unit can improve, run the ball better, protect Shedeur more?
We're definitely going to run the ball this year. From watching last year, that was kind of horrific, but you know sometimes you gotta adapt with what you're given. But this year, it's going to be a good one. We're going to be able to run the ball, throw the ball. We're going to do our thing, give them as much time as need. And we're just going to block. That's kind of what it all comes down to, just making sure you block your man and a not my man mentality.
Last question for Seaton.
Jordan, David Owen with The Athletic. What was it something that the coaching staff said to you, you know, in the recruiting process that sort of won you over? And what did you make of all the noise around early signing day when it didn't look like it was certain that you were going to end up here?
That's all right. So 2 things. For answer your first question, what made this school different? Every visit I went on, they told me how good I was or how best, like I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that. I came here, Coach Prime, he had 3 things I needed to work on. He said size, your core. What do you mean by size? Like just looking the part, you know, weight room size. And he told me I need to bend my hips a little bit more. So I'm like, I could work with that because like right now you're trying to elevate me and I'm not even here. So it's like you're investing in me and you just want me to win, and I haven't even came to your school yet. So that kind of stood out to me the most, and I don't really like to have the yes men in your ear because then you know, a lot of that is just gets worse. And then for the signing day part, we was in Miami. We just didn't have no Wi-Fi. So we couldn't submit the form. So, yeah, we just ain't have no Wi-Fi. So the form couldn't get submit to sign. And, yeah, that was crazy, yeah.
Thank you, Seaton.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Take care.
Shedeur will be in here in a few, so just give us about 5 minutes on Shedeur.
gotta go outside. Oh, I just gotta. Oh yeah.
How y'all doing?
How you doing, Shedeur?
Good, good.
Nikki Edwards, Hughes Sports Report. You know, you've been kind of nursing that back injury. We've heard that you're feeling better. How are you feeling? How are you throwing the ball? How's camp going?
No, I feel great. I feel like kind of like how I felt at the beginning of last season. I feel stronger. I'm healed. I'm rested up. I trained a lot this off season. Just working. I feel real good. I feel real comfortable. Feel like I'm getting bigger a little bit. Definitely the lower half. I just feel stronger overall.
David, I'm with The Athletic. Shedeur, when you look back at your first season at Colorado, what are the things that you looked at that you want to apply to this season that you feel like you learned your first season here?
Really, don't take sacks. It's the main thing. Just improving, going through the reads, going through everything, just improving footwork and just the small things, really, because that's the difference between wins and losses, the small things. So just better decision-making overall, consistency. It's a lot of things that go into the season and what I'm going to improve.
Hey, Shedeur, Carlos Bryant, DSM. How much different is the offense without Sean Lewis here, that you have just Shermer this year, and what can we expect to see going forward, more or less Trav on the field?
I'm not. Trav's a dog, so he's definitely going to be on the field regardless. The offense is going to be explosive. We're going to have a lot of great receivers. We got a great tight end. And the main thing that we got to give credit to is the O-line. That's the main improvement, I'll say. This year, I feel like everybody really understands that we're all trying to get to the next level and we're all trying to win. So that's the main thing. You got to have a lot of like-minded people around and not delusional people. You got to have people that actually know what it's going to take to be able to even have a chance to play at the next level or even have a chance to win a lot of games that we're going to win this year.
Shedeur, Matt Smith, 104.3 The Fan. You just talked about not taking sacks. And just to follow up to that, when you look back on it, how much do you feel is a quarterback's responsibility and how much do you feel is maybe an O-line's responsibility versus maybe a receiver ran the wrong route? How much of that were you trying to juggle last season?
Well, me personally, I don't put blame. I don't throw the blame on no players or anything like that. I don't. Because everybody's out there trying their hardest. I am also. So I would never knock somebody for what they're doing, even though I know they're trying their hardest because they're out there with me. a lot of those times I always try to figure out what could I have done better, what should I have done. It looks very easy on TV and it looks easy like from a screen, but when you're out there and it's just an overall different feel because you understand you got to make plays at the end of the day. So that's the pros and the cons to having a player that likes to make plays, and understanding my skill set, understanding what fits me as a quarterback, what makes me different, what makes me special, is really extending plays.
We just heard Coach talk about how if you went out this year, you'd have been QB2 off the board. Do you enter this season with more motivation, or is it about the same, or because you can maybe see the light at the end of your college career tunnel, does it drive you even more to go be the number 1 overall pick?
Nah, I've been seeing the light since day one, since I've been in college overall, since when I got to the platform, and I came from a private school, so at the end of the day, I dealt with a lot of negativity, a lot of hate, a lot of everything I done dealt with already year after year. I came from a small private school. All the other kids was going big, Power 5, and they went to big 6A, Texas 6A schools and stuff. I don't see those same kids around. I don't see them excelling in their programs or whatever they're doing. So I always been against the odds, like in different ways. So then whenever I got to Jackson State, I understand I played my first year, and I felt like everything is building me up each year, and each year I'm improving different things, adding different things to my bag. So it's no extra motivation because I've been seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It's just like now y'all able to see it. Like you could check the stats year after year after year, and they're improving. Everything's going good. So nah, we didn't end the right way. So I couldn't leave on that note. It didn't feel right overall.
Ariel Arsuto, 9 News. As a quarterback, was it like Christmas morning when you got an entirely new offensive line, and especially with Jordan Seaton?
Yeah, I definitely talked to all of them on the phone, so I kind of knew what was going on because I had all them. I was just talking to them overall, and whenever they came on visits and stuff, meeting with them, and bringing them to my crib and just talking to them honestly about what's the plan and how they fit in this offense and how they fit overall, and just knowing you guys are going to be in the perfect scenario for this year. You got to understand the narrative last year is the offensive line wasn't so good, so now you're going to have straight light on you. So not everybody's built for that, to have expectations, to take the good and the bad, to where everybody, you got to be able to have a strong circle around you and understand that you're still good, you're still that player, regardless of what anybody else says. So it takes a couple strong individuals to be able to do that.
Mark Kislett, Denver Gazette. Going back to the idea of your father saying you would have been second quarterback off the board this spring.
Mm-hmm.
Your spring game is April 27th, same weekend as the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this the right place for you to be right now rather than in that NFL draft?
Because I'm trying to be the first quarterback off the board. That's really what it is. And I respect Caleb. I respect how he plays. He's a great player. It's different. Overall, it's a different tiers of quarterbacks. It's guys that are special, guys that are good, and guys that are okay game managers. So it's like you just got to understand like what player you are and what category you fall in. So I understood. I know this year wasn't my year, so next year I didn't have enough time at this level because it's a lot of things that go into it, but I just didn't have enough time, but on the field and off the field, So I feel like I'm just excited to be back with the team, to be able to have another year, to do things over again, to do it the right way. And I understand how Power 5 football is, which is pretty much the same as just, D-line, get off blocks a little bit quicker sometimes. That's it.
Shedeur, Kyle Newman with the Denver Post. Back to the O-line, what gives you confidence Jordan can come in here as a freshman, kind of be an anchor on that line, and what's your confidence just overall that we're going to see a completely different unit up there?
No, I'm extremely confident. I'll say Jordan definitely showed me that he's ready. He showed me a lot that I really didn't expect that much from I understand he's young, he's going to have growing pains, but really just the fact he's able to listen on and off the field and just, get wisdom just from other players, likewise as him. So I'm really excited. I'm really happy about Jordan. I'm happy he made a decision because I feel like it's the right one, and he's definitely a generational player.
Shedeur, there's a lot of emphasis, it seems, this offseason put on improving the run game. We didn't see it really break hardly any big runs last year, so I'm curious, do you get as much enjoyment as handing the ball off to a guy like Alton and seeing him bust a 30-yard run as you do in making a play in the passing game?
Yeah, because you don't have to feel like you got to make a lot of plays. That's the difference between trying to extend plays sometimes when you just got to have a play, or you could just hand the ball off. So it's really simple, and you get to play more free and more honest, whenever you can run the ball. But if you're not, then you just sitting back there playing drop 8, and they're doubling everybody, and it's just like you just got to find a way, and you don't really have too much longevity with that. So that's how I see it.
Shedeur, Pat Graham, Associated Press. Sorry to harp on this, but when you hear the words fracture and back, it's a quarterback. It's kind of a scary deal. I guess, can you just take us through, what did you have to go through to get back to this point? And are you back to full capacity? Are you back and everything? How did that go, and how scary was that?
So now I'm back to full 110%. I'm excited about everything, but going through that process, it wasn't good. It's just I was out there at the Utah game just watching dang, I know I want to be out there, but as soon as I took a step to jog or run, it's just the back pain hurt extremely. It was something I never experienced before, and it was something when you really want to do something but you can't. So it's the feeling that, probably coaches get whenever they want to be back out there playing, but they can't. So it really hurts a lot. Mentally and physically, so the whole December I was able to just rest and just recover. So it took a long time for me to get back 100%. And the weight room program that I'm doing right now and all that slowly built me up to where I am now, to where I feel 100% again, to where I know I could go out there very confident, do anything, make any throw, make any run. I just feel great now.
Hey, Shedeur. Brian Howell from the Boulder Daily Camera. What makes Pat Shurmur the right coordinator for you right now?
He understands me as a person. I feel like that's the main thing with anybody. You got to have somebody that understands you, somebody that's not that you don't have to change or you don't have to act any type of way for, that that's not judgmental. So that's why I feel like a lot of players like playing for Dad. Because a lot of people don't like the untraditional way of things, of how college athletes do things, of just anything in general. So Coach Pat, we have a great relationship. He understands me. He accepts me for who I am. And I feel like that's the most important thing with having a quarterback offensive coordinator relationship.
I'm just curious, did you read your dad's book, or do you plan to?
Nah, I plan to. I didn't read his book yet, but everything he probably wrote in the book, he already instilled in me.
Did you live it?
Yeah,
You probably
so
lived it.
all the speeches he say, I already kind of get the gist of what he's saying, because I've been with him all the time, so I understand. And now at the point in life, he explains a lot to me, that things that I'm questionable about, things that I don't know. I'm just not out there just doing anything for no reason. It's always reasons, it's always a plan. We just make living life and playing football fun. We don't want it to be strictly just straight hard work 99, 100% of the time. That's not, you're going to burn out doing that. You got to at least be able to enjoy the process. So that's it. Thank you.